Hi everyone, this is Cam here at Gilded on the Waste to Wishes project funded by the Climate Change Fund. In today's session we are going to make a mushroom and leek with cheese sauce pie, and we're going to do it from scratch, doing our own pastry as well as the filling, so I hope you enjoy. Thank you. The first thing we're going to do is make the shortcut pastry for the pie. Now you want to start with this because you need to leave this in the fridge to set for 30 to 40 minutes. So for this we need 260 grams of plain flour and 115 grams of butter, so I have used salted butter, half a teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of water, and we're going to use some vegetable oil. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to combine the flour and the salt together in a large bowl. So take your salt and you're going to give that a mix. Once you've combined that, you're going to put in the butter or the margarine, and what you're going to do is you are going to use your fingertips and you're going to mix it into the flour. So you want a good kind of crumbly texture at the end of this. So you just take your fingertips and basically you're mixing in the butter with the flour and the salt. Okay, come in. So you're going to keep going until this is all well mixed. We don't want any lumps of butter. And this will take a good 3 to 4 minutes. Once you've combined it, this is the consistency of the flour. Okay, so you can see there's no lumps and it's a fine crumb. So the next stage to this, we are going to add in our wet ingredients. Okay, this is 3 tablespoons of cold water. To that, we want to add 2 tablespoons of the oil. So I'm using your virgin olive oil, but you can use vegetable oil. Okay, so 2 tablespoons. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add this to the dry ingredients. Put it in. Use your spoon to give it a mix. Just pulling it all together so that a dough starts forming. So that is our dough ready for the pie, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this in cling film and put it in the fridge for 40 minutes, and while that is setting we will make our filling for the pie. For the filling, the first thing I'm going to start with is I've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pot, and I've chopped up 4 cloves of garlic, and we're going to put the gas on medium heat, and then to that I'm going to add 1 leek washed and chopped up. I have got 1 punnet of mushrooms, so that's probably about 250 grams, again washed and I've chopped up, and I've also got a handful of kale that I'm going to add. So we're going to put all this in with the garlic and the oil. So that all goes in. And give it a good mix. And that is going to cook away on our gas until everything is soft, all the vegetables. And while that is cooking away, so it's best to put it on a kind of low medium heat, and we can do our cheese sauce. For the cheese sauce, in a separate pan, warm up 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and when that's a bit warm we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of plain flour. Now make sure it's a heaped tablespoon of flour. Okay, so put that into the oil and make sure you keep mixing it. Now if you feel it goes too solid, then you can add in a bit more oil. Okay, so the other thing is you want to make sure that it doesn't burn, so keep your heat low. And to that we're going to add in milk. So we are going to use a pint of milk. So this can be dairy or non-dairy. So if you're doing a vegan version you can use non-dairy milk. And if you're doing a dairy version you can just use dairy milk. Okay, that's been cooking for a couple of minutes now. And what you want to do now is add in your milk, but you don't want to add it all in together. You're going to add in a bit of a time. Add in a bit, Give it a stir. If you put it all in at once, it can go quite lumpy. So that's why we're putting it a bit at a time. So make sure you keep stirring as you're adding the milk in. And the idea is the sauce should thicken, and when it thickens a bit, you add a bit more milk in, and you keep repeating this process until you've used all the milk. So that is the flour and the milk combined, and it's thickened quite a lot. Now, as I was doing it, I felt that it wasn't that thick, so I did add in another ½ tablespoon of flour. Okay, so that's thickened. Now we need to flavour this. So if you want to make it vegan, you can use vegan cheese, or you can use nutritional yeast. Okay, so we have that here. Okay, so I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons. Just make sure my gas is turned down. Adding 3 tablespoons. So the nutritional yeast gives it the flavour of cheese. So I think it's known as nutritional yeast flakes, and again you can find these in any supermarkets. Okay, that was 3 tablespoons. Give it a mix, and we're going to season this. So to this I am going to add in some black pepper and a bit of salt and some mixed herbs. So if you have fresh herbs, even better. I don't have any, so I'm just going to use some of this in. And also we're going to add in some mustard. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze in probably about a tablespoon of this and give it all a mix. That is the cheese sauce ready, and that is going to get mixed in with the mushrooms and leek that we were cooking earlier. So that's been cooking away while I was making the sauce. That's me mixing the cheese sauce with the filling. So that is now ready to put into our pie. So the next step is to get our pastry out the fridge and roll it out and fill our pastry and put the pie in the oven. So the pastry has been in the fridge for at least 40 minutes now, so we'll prepare that next. That's me taking the pastry out the fridge. Okay, so that was it wrapped in cling film. So at this point what you want to do is you want to put your oven on. You're going to preheat your oven on 180 degrees. Okay, and also you need a tin. So I'm just using a cake tin, and I have just greased that with a bit of oil. So make sure your worktop is dusted with flour. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll out the pastry. Bring it all together first of all. And we're going to roll that out. Okay, so you need a rolling pin for this. So one good trick, put your pastry over onto your rolling pin, like so. Okay, bring the tin over. I can lay it over. Just push it down. If it's break, that's okay, no problem. Okay. Push it in, and we'll take out all these extras because we need that to cover the top. What we're going to do is keep that for the top. And next we're going to fill this. So take your filling, put it in. Now it's up to you if you want to use all of it, or you can keep the rest for another pie. Okay, and with the rest of your pastry, I'm going to roll that out to cover the top. That is the top layer of pastry on now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to poke the top of it, and this also helps when it is cooking in the oven to let all the steam and air out, so hopefully it shouldn't bubble up too much. The other thing I'm going to do is, so you can do any pattern with it, it's up to you, I'm going to go around the edges with the fork just to kind of make it look a bit pretty and a bit neater. Okay, just like that. The final step before putting it in the oven is now just to glaze it. Okay, so we're going to brush it with some milk, and again if you're doing a vegan version you can use non-dairy milk. Okay, and just so it gives it that nice golden brown look. and when your oven has heated up, it is ready to go in, and you're going to bake this for about 30 minutes, okay, till it's rising nice and golden brown.